Charles Schwab recently released this year's Modern Wealth Survey, and I think they uncovered a really interesting quandary. So one of the questions they asked in the survey is, how much money do you think somebody needs to have for you to consider them wealthy? And the average answer was $2.2 million, which is in the ballpark of what I'd expect. But then they asked the people in the survey, do you feel wealthy? And almost half of the people said, yes, I feel wealthy. Yet they only had, in quotes, only $560,000, their net worth, self-reported net worth of $560,000. So how can this be? How can people say you need $2.2 million to be wealthy? But somebody taking the survey, I feel wealthy, and I've got a net worth of $560,000. So a lot of people would say, oh, this is a problem, right? I only have $560,000. But as a financial advisor, I'm going to surprise you. I do not think this is a problem at all. In fact, I think it's good news if the numbers are actually right. So let's go for a walk and I'll share with you why I feel the way I do. So having an average net worth of $560,000 is huge. In fact, it's double what the median household net worth is for people 65 and older. Now, these 1,000 survey participants that Schwab talked to were all the way from people from 21 to 75. And in fact, the report says they surveyed 1,000 people, but if you read the footnotes say it was 1,000 people plus an extra 200 Gen Zs, people 21 to 25. Now, from a net worth standpoint, those are going to be the people with the least amount of money, right? So again, the median household net worth for people 65 and above, people that have been saving their whole lives, that is $280,000. And the average of this report, of this survey, was double that, exactly double, right? $560,000. So my takeaway is I think people lie, okay? I don't believe, maybe they surveyed some very wealthy people, but in general, those are big numbers. And if that represents America today, that's great news. That's wonderful news. So takeaway number one is I think the respondents lied. I don't know. It's self-reported net worth. It's also important to note that, again, I read the footnotes. I read the fine print in this report. Schwab classified net worth or defined net worth as all of your assets besides real estate. Well, for most of us, our homes are our largest asset. Now, I don't know if in the survey, besides real estate is real estate other than your home, but I can tell you in the notes that they had in the report, it just said besides real estate. So if these it's really 1,200 people, right? 1,000 people officially in the survey, and I don't know what this plus 200 extra Gen Z people are, but if that group has a net worth outside of real estate of $560,000, boy, America's in great shape. And I'd love to believe that that's the case, but I think sometimes in surveys, people lie. For instance, one of the things I work on in my channel is getting my audience to be deliberate and to be thoughtful about when they retire, right? And if an HR firm, if a consulting firm surveys employees at a company, 80% of people would say that they love their jobs. But when those same people are surveyed anonymously, only 20% of people say they love their job. So I do believe that folks lie when they take surveys, and that's not a bad thing. But when it comes to these numbers, I think it's misleading. And people are using this report. There's a report on Yahoo Finance. I've seen other YouTubers talk about it, and they're using it as an alarming number. People only have $560,000. Well, I look at it, boy, I hope it's true. Again, I don't think it is. I think people lied. So, different strokes for different folks. But I look at it as encouraging, and even more encouraging to me And this is what I think is super surprising. When people, half the people said, I feel wealthy. And I think what I'm about to share with you is a very healthy development, and I do believe this. And when the survey asked, what does it mean to be wealthy? The most popular answer, and there's an asterisk next to this, and I'll share with you what it is. The most popular answer was, well-being. You have your health. 40% of people said being wealthy means, is a sense of well-being. Now, this was an open-ended question, so people likely answered this in different ways in the survey company. Schwab hired out a third-party service to do this survey. But 40% of people gave an answer that led the survey company to classify it as well-being. And money was only 32% of the respondents, right? You could share different things, I guess, because it adds up to over 100%. But it's a little misleading again, because there was also another category called assets. Money and assets are kind of related. So money was 32%, 26% of the respondents put assets. So collectively, that's 58%. So well-being might not be number one, but still to have it this high in a report, right? I talk about that all the time. That your health is much more important than the balance in your bank account. They're both important, obviously. And the challenge is you can easily look up what's my balance in the bank account, but it's not so easy to look up, what's your health. And it's one of those things that, you can skip going to the gym for a couple days, a couple weeks, and you're probably going to be fine, right? But over time, that works against you. So, all right, let's keep going. Another thing that was interesting was giving was one of the things. Almost 10%, 9% of the people said giving is what part of what it meant to be and to feel wealthy. And I think that's great. I think in general, Americans are generous, and we have a lot of not-for-profits that we support. In my little town, there's maybe 15,000 full-time residents, but there's 100 not-for-profits in our little town, and it's part of what brings us together as a community. So I was glad to see that, and frankly, I was surprised to see that freedom was, I just closed my notes. Freedom was only listed, I believe it was 13. And to me, wealth does mean freedom. Okay, it was 15%, I'm sorry. To me, one of the big benefits of wealth is freedom. Freedom to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, and with whom you want to do whatever it is that makes you excited. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I know you're going to enjoy this video up here about the average income for retirees in America, and this video down here that talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.